we're going to talk about slamming the desks. I would do it, but when I do, you can see the camera shakes. And I'm worried that the camera's going to, like, fall over and you're going to see I've got no, like, trousers on or something. So anyway, smashing the tables, right? Let me smash. Smashing. We're going to talk about smashing. People are losing their minds over, it seems, one player smashing and not others smashing. And so I wanted to talk about, you can see from the title, Hulkzerk, right? Hallzerk plays for complexity. He used to look like a trucker from Ohio, and now he looks like he's on Wall Street. I don't know what's going on there, but anyway, he's gone through quite the transformation. But one thing has remained the same throughout his career. He is somebody that when he gets frustrated in a game, he bangs the table. His emotions get the better of him. In fact, let me just show you, because quite helpfully, Note uploaded a compilation.
If they would have gone to that third map, they would have been tilted out. If you already...
Apologies for asinine Bubsky takes. We'll power through.
Saw Hallzerk being a little frustrated with many other moments in this game. So, I mean, Complexity are just happy that he got over with it.
Let's do that. Hold on. I know where you're going with this. Just hold on. Let's look at some of those reactions. I think that will be the easiest and most clear, concise way to illustrate the point that Yanko might be about to make.
I don't even have a, you know what I would do if I were Complexity? I would say, bro, listen, hit the table as much as you like. Slam the desk as many times as you like. Every time you slam it, we take $1,000 off your paycheck.
Damn.
And it goes into the opposite way. If it's over your paycheck, then you owe us money. So you can slam it as many times you want. This is ridiculous. Yeah. For a professional player, when dude, it's not about you. You know, the earth doesn't revolve around.
Right. So there was Hallzerk smashing the desk quite a lot, and that's all from one series. So that should give you an understanding as to how many times that he does it in a game. And it seems to be really like kind of weird and stilted. Like, for instance, there are other notorious desk slammers. In fact, I would go so far, there's only one thing more ridiculous than slamming your desk in the middle of a round or in the middle of a game. It's punching your monitor. And we all know everyone's favorite IGL Device. He loves a monitor punch, doesn't he? But that's okay, because Device is one of the sacred cows that, you know, now that he's back in Astralis and not playing for NIP, it's okay. It's okay that he does that. We're not going to criticize him for doing it. We can't criticize him. He's another one of those people that can just do whatever they want, and the community will always make excuses for them. Certainly hope Cadian never punches a monitor. There'll be calls on Reddit for him to be prosecuted under some sort of obscure vandalism act. But anyway, I'm just going to say, from that clip, yeah, it looks a bit childish and pathetic. My overall thoughts on smashing the desk is, I don't have a problem with it. Like, genuine moments of frustration could spill out in all sports. I would say it's comparative to a tennis player throwing their racket. The difference is, of course, in esports, there aren't penalties for those kind of outbursts. Maybe that's something ESL could have a word about. I mean, just to remind everyone, Donk was screaming things at his opponents, really over-exuberant, over the top, and there was talk about him being fined, and there was penalties being put out there. Maybe that's something that will come in for excessive smashing. Who knows? And what the punishments might spill over into could be interesting. That's something for ESL to think about in Theorycraft. But overall, I think a couple of things. First of all, if your first instinct is to smash your desk over getting your last, like, call out as to what's happening, if that is your first instinct, you're probably not you're just not competitively minded in the right way, because there has to be a moment where, let's apply it to your pubs. When you're playing a video game, right, and let's say it's Counter-Strike, the video game, CS2, the best version of CS ever, because I'm a Valve shill, you're playing that, and somebody dies, and he goes, he's just fucking peeked me like that, a fucking dickhead, he's fucking shit, how can I fucking figure it out, he's a fucking moron, how can I even figure it out? Is any of that useful? Right? Does any of that help you, who's still alive in the round? Well, no, it doesn't help you. What you want to know is, where are they? Are they tagged? Were they going somewhere? And just give me the info. That's it, right? And here's the thing. With games, I don't need to say it on mic, right? And let me tell you why people do that, by the way. It's a little interesting psychological quirk for you. The people that do that scream stuff like that on the mic, they're not doing it because they need to express frustration, because you can do that off mic. You can do that in a way that doesn't impact on your teammates. They're that insecure. They're telling the other players, I didn't die because I'm bad. This thing occurred. Let me give you the context of why I died. I'm not shit. That's how fucking pathetic they are. And so people who do that, they're always going to have, there's always going to be a ceiling that they're not going to be able to go through. One thing I learned very early, even as a shit player, is that you can actually win games without making frags. If you can communicate clearly to your teammates and you've got better aimers around you, and you can help them construct a three-dimensional picture of how to approach the rest of the round, you can be more valuable than another fragger on that team. And so, anyway, that's like a key thing to remember. And I would expect all professional players to be able to control their emotions, except in the most ridiculous of circumstances, like actual unbelievable high-stakes things going wrong, high-stakes mistakes, things that might be beyond their control. Like, for instance, Twists had a monitor, not a monitor lag. He banged his keyboard or something, and he came off a defuse at the play-ins. So, and that caused him to have a reaction. And I understand that. I get that. That's a round that you won. But anyway, banging on the desk isn't something that a pro should do. And I'll also just add this is the second component to it. I'm sure everyone in Complexity is used to it by now. But let me also say, as someone that's managed teams and coached teams in esports, in my long history in it, little things like that, if it's not okay with someone, they bubble up and they fester and they will spill over. And these are the things, by the way, that next time there's a roster discussion in secret with 3 players or with a manager and a star player, these are the things that can even get you kicked from teams. You think it isn't, but it absolutely is. Put it this way, it didn't take long and you should have known what you were getting, but Smoo, you're in Fnatic. We all remember Bald Egg. Referral code Bald Egg. We all know what happened there. He pissed off the Swedes. He pissed off the Swedes because he's he's not very good at marshalling his emotion, and people don't like it. People want notoriously chill people around them. I'll give you an even better example. It's not just bad players that can do things like this. I'll remind you all, way back at the start of CS, back when CSGO, we didn't know how big it was going to get, and it was all pre-skins and all of that stuff. Kenny S used to be a rager. He used to be an insane rager. One of the best AWPers of all time that the sport has seen, but he used to be an insane rager, and he was a table banger, and he was a screamer. He was a smasher. And RPK, notoriously one of the most chill people ever to play the game, just a silent, stoic giant of a man, he retired because of this. He had to sit next to Kenny S, and he couldn't handle it. He couldn't handle it. He looked at the future of where CSGO was going, and he said, fuck it. It's actually not worth it. It's not worth it for my mental health. And he retired to go and be a mechanic and work with his father. That's what he did. Imagine that. He walked away from the sport because he couldn't handle desk smashing. So nearly the first of the stream, the belief that it's okay to smash if your teammates say that they approve of it. Nope, absolutely not. You don't know. One day, it might just trigger them. It might just piss them off immensely. And I will add, Complexity is not the roster I would be doing it on Hallzerk. Yes, you've just re-signed a contract, but Complexity, they are so close to roster changes. There is going to be a discussion about roster changes in the not-too-distant future. You shouldn't want to be among them. So, food for thought. Anyway, Hallzerk reacted to this, and I just don't know about this one, Chief, okay? Hallzerk, when I table slam, it helps me reset faster. On the community talking about his outbursts, I don't care about what other people and experts say. The only opinions I care about are from my teammates. Okay, well, let's hope they're being honest, my friend. On the reasons behind them, I feel like I miss easy shots and die in stupid ways. That is certainly true. You do. And when I table slam, it helps me reset faster, get into the round and try to help my teammates when I'm dead. Now, yes, sometimes when frustration is bubbling up inside of you, it can be good to have a violent expression of that because it very often channels the energy outward. And so, for instance, middle of an argument, someone's being infuriating, you punch a wall. Now you feel better. Problem with that, now you've got a sore hand and potentially a hole in the wall you've got to pay for. You see, one thing you learn generally in your teenage years is that while that is a very quick way to dissipate the energy, it very often creates its own set of problems because those outbursts, you never really know where they're going to go, what they're going to do. And by the way, if you're doing it at home and you bang a desk, you might break your desk, you might break your keyboard. I've done it. I think probably the last time I had an actual insane outburst, I was playing Madden online. And must have been about 34. I was playing Madden online, and I got scripted on a Hail Mary. I'd won. It was the Hail Mary. It was like a 70-yard Hail Mary pass that went into triple coverage, and it bounced off all of my defenders' hands in a ridiculous, glitched manner, and then just appeared in the hand of the receiver to beat me with no time left on the clock. And I picked up my keyboard, my expensive mechanical keyboard, and I hurled it at the door with such force. All of the keys went everywhere. I was finding keys around my room for weeks. And the keys even went under the crack in the door. Sam was out on the other side of the door going, "Fucking hell, Bert, what's happened there?" And I explained to him I'd just been fucking scripted in a game of Madden. That was the last time I ever had an outburst like that. I've been really good doing it. Because what you should do is when you feel the rage rising, bubbling up inside of you, there has to be a mental exercise you can do to reset. There has to be something you can tell yourself, some way to compartmentalize it. That's one of the things everybody should really learn. Like, there's a time and a place to deal with the frustration about your mistakes. There's a time and a place to get angry, But you can't do it in the middle of a match, and it can affect your teammates. It really can. So, no, this isn't going to cut it. Now, I will also add my lovely friend Yanko, who I love very much. I think he also kind of did a bit of an L take in all of this. You can see this was reported on dust2.us. Yanko on Hallzerk's desk slamming. This is ridiculous for a professional player. And the quote was, you heard a little bit of it there. He said, Yanko, as a former professional coach and player, approached the desk slamming from the perspective of it being unprofessional and disruptive to Hallzerk's fellow teammates, stating that just because you're having a bad game, you don't have to ruin it for everyone else, before stating that Hallzerk's inability to relax in game is ridiculous and a detriment to his ability to find success as a pro in high-pressure situations. Now, I agree with that take, but let me show you this. Somebody tweeted this at Yanko, right? I'm just going to let this play on loop. That there is Nico. You might have heard of him. You've seen the Nico. You know the Nico. He is a player for G2 who does notoriously like to smash. He does like a smash himself when he gets frustrated. Nico has done a lot of emotional maturing over the years. He's way better than the classic era. Shut up! Right? Era Nico, back in Nico Sports. But he is one of the biggest molders of all time. Molders Gate 3. And so, anyway, somebody asked Yanko his thoughts. And Yanko replied, "You're going to compare Hallzerk to Nico? They're not in the same galaxy." And the ability of the player shouldn't really enter into the equation. And to be fair to Yanko, he did follow it up with, and my thoughts are that death slamming is bad, period. But then he waded back into the soup. By the way, this is the cool guy walking away from the exploding car tweet. You've won. Just don't say anything else, and you win the internet for the day. But then he said this. One has nothing to do with the other. Hallzerk is slamming his desk mid-round multiple times. Nico slammed it at the end of the round. Context matters. Hence why him and Hallzerk are not in the same galaxy, but feel free to bitch anyway. Bitch away. And so, okay, well, when is a desk smash not a desk smash is kind of where we're at right now. And never going to beat those allegations of being in the tank for Nico. I'll say, though, I mean, he is right. Hallzerk's not in the... You are okay to forgive outbursts from higher skilled competitors, but the point still stands. If you can't rein in your emotions, there is going to be... That is in some way going to cap your ability to perform at the highest level. Not always, not in every instance, but in some circumstances, it's going to be a detriment. And that's before we even get into how it affects your teammates. Complexity are a very fragile team. I mean, we've seen today what G2 are capable of when they're playing at their very best. They absolutely demolished Spirit on the day I'm recording this stream. But it is worth noting Complexity, while they're doing okay at the moment, they are a team that loses the unlosable rounds. They're teams that capitulate. I showed you that clip of Maui Snake. When he was watching, he said he was going to put his entire career on an unlosable round in Complexity's hands, a 4-on-2, and Complexity lost it. So I would propose for Hallzerk moving forward, what you should do is you should talk to, I don't know, there's many fine sports psychologists out there, I'm sure would be willing to give you some of their time and just say, like, you know, okay, let's see. Here's a thought exercise you can do in the moment. Here's how you can catch yourself, you know, and you can stop doing it. And then try and bring that into your game. I would say for the good of your career, for the good of your teammates' career, for the good of your team, for the good of your future prospects. You'd be amazed the things that people pay attention to when it comes to recruitment of players. And anything that makes you look like you could be a difficult or problematic player or not good in a team environment, those are the things that can actually end up holding you back over the course of your career. And doing the hoopsie and saying, yo, what up, guys? If you think me smashing a desk is bad, I don't care about your opinion because you don't know ball. That's not going to help either, mate. That just means every time you do it, it's going to get highlighted. It's going to be in the spotlight. It's going to be on the front page of Reddit. And on a long enough time scale, more and more people are going to talk about it. More and more people are going to notice. And then one day when you invariably leave Complexity or you're invariably benched, suddenly these are the things people are going to find because, unfortunately, it's a reality that Reddit recruitment is real in esports. So, bit more woo-saw in your life, buddy. There are plenty of ways to mentally reset.